So, good morning and good evening. We'll start with the session. A lot of people had messaged they would not be joining in. So, we'll start if somebody comes. And before we begin, just as we were doing with the mantra right now, we'll just take another minute to ingather ourselves with the help of our breath, with anything that helps to just be fully present in this moment. No matter how short that interval is, but we'll try. Focusing on my in breath all the way and out breath, or focusing on a center like, the heart center, third eye center, or just the tip of the nose, it helps. And before we begin, just invoking Divine's grace, presence, with an aspiration that may I be able to be more expanded, more simple, more lighter, with the help of grace and the words of the masters and mystics. So, welcome Raviji. After a long time, namaste.
Namaste, Didi.
So, last time we had done unhappiness and insincerity, and this week we'll start with the psychic mirror. So, if anybody is willing, if they would like to read the passage, otherwise I'll read it. Yeah, I will read the passage. Okay, you reading?
No, I was asking you to read.
Okay. The psychic mirror. This is life. One stumbles and falls on the first occasion. One tells oneself, oh, one can't always be so serious. And when the other part returns, once again, one repents bitterly. I was a fool. I have wasted my time. Now I must begin again. At times, there is one part that's ill-humored, in revolt, full of worries, and another which is progressive, full of surrender. All that, one after the other. There is but one remedy. The signpost must always be there. A mirror well placed in one's feeling, impulses, all one sensation. One sees them in this mirror. There are some which are not very beautiful or pleasant to look at. There are others which are beautiful, pleasant, and must be kept. This one does 100 times a day if necessary, and it is very interesting. One draws a kind of big circle around the psychic mirror and arranges all the elements around it. If there is something that is not all right, it casts a sort of grey shadow upon the mirror this element must be shifted, organized. It must be spoken to, made to understand. One must come out of that darkness. If you do that, you never get bored, the mother. It's interesting that over the last, in the last few sessions, somehow the reason aspect we have been studying, right? That how reason again is the helper, reason is the bar, and we were studying that how we take the right path or the discipline because of a reason, and we use the same reason to not do it, right? So here again, it's like saying exactly like this, that I'm doing something, then a voice comes that says that one can't always be serious. I lapse, I fall down, I get into things which are I know are not good for me, are not beneficial for me, for example, or other things. And then once I indulge again or slip again, and I allow myself, right? Because it's a dialogue, I allow myself, it's not just happening. And then one repents, one is better that, oh, I was a fool, I've wasted my time, and now I must begin again. For me to see within myself, these different movements coming from different parts, it has been a very expansive, and it is, of course, it is a continuous, expansive experience, expansive vision, and it's, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but how when one loses faith on the voices inside, that is, I feel a very, they get in a shubh sanket. Like I feel that okay, finally I'm starting to lose faith on those voices inside, because one is saying that, the other is saying this. कितना सुनोगे और किसका सुनोगे, और सुन सुन के कहाँ पहुंचे हो, ये देखकर भी one gets tired or disgusted or just exhausted with all these voices saying this or that. So just taking the first para right now, so one after the other, so very strongly resonate. And yeah, anything on the first part?
I think the second half is also again connecting with what we have been reading about reason, that how it must be used. And just like we all the time are very concerned, most of us are all the time very concerned about to keep the house, tidy, and whatever stuff is required to keep that and other to give away should look nice, the house, good bed sheets, good cushion cover. So we give so much importance, usually, not each one of us, usually to outer surroundings, even how we look and dress. So the same thing has to be done within. And the temple, as we say, the body is the temple, mind, feelings, it is a temple. And that has to, with the help of that reason only, we have to organize it, sort it, and keep it tidy, neat, and clean. So in that, we see here, although here mother talks about psychic mirror, So we have to see that it's not just the function of reason being talked here, but these deep knowing within us which knows, whether we have spoken a good word, whether my intention was nice. If I deeply look in that mirror, something in us knows uh, truly. And for that we don't need any education from outer. Like, I don't need to go to a school for that. That's there within each one of us. It's just that we don't give it attention, we don't give it time to cultivate it, and slowly we may also lose it because so many other things become so overpowering that the manipulations and hidden agendas take the first place, and I stop to look at my true intention with which maybe I acted or spoke a word or felt or thought. So again, this psychic reflection or this psychic mirror feels like it organizes the being from within. What is needed to be kept should be kept, and the other should be thrown away or maybe convinced, as Mother is saying, that it must be spoken to, made to understand. And this would be the work of reason, that your one is trying to convince that part which is resisting that if there is something that is not all right, it casts a sort of gray shadow upon the mirror, and this element must be shifted, organized, must be spoken to, made to understand, and one must come out of that darkness. And this can keep us occupied. All the time we think that we have to put time to entertain ourselves, so it's a very nice entertainment. And seeing that even when we are trying to convince that resistant part, we will see how many more resistances it throws up and how many valid, non-valid reasons it would try to give that no, I have to behave this way. And then one is trying to convince and reason so that it can be put right. So yeah, it's just interesting, very interesting, and gives one a lifelong employment if one turns to it.
So there are a lot of things that I keep in myself because it just feels uneasy or uncomfortable to look at them, right? Like maybe some past mishappening, some ill will, some bad, so-called bad deeds, some sins that we might have committed, or some that might have been committed to us. So rather than looking at them because of various reasons, fears, shame, we keep pushing it in, and it just stays there, stinking, right? But if we are able to look at them, bring them out, it just makes things, I don't know, more cleaner, more purer, more light. It's as if a lot of burden has been lifted. And the same, like, you were so beautifully compared this to cleaning of the house or the room, right? It's just like that. Like, if I know that, okay, there is this drawer that I have just put everything in and just shut it, and now it's looking good from outside. But every time I look at it, there's something in me which goes like, oh, one day this has to. And when we do make that effort and we open it, everything comes out. There's horror and frustration and gasping and fear. And yet, when we start cleaning, and of course, it will end, it's such an amazing feeling, or just that thing to realize that, okay, there's nothing in there anymore. I'm light. Things are sorted. What I didn't need, I gave away. And I cleaned and dusted, and more space now, that emptiness that we talk about. So very symbolic.
Yeah, and just right now you mentioned that it gives a nice feeling, even when we clean like our drawers, in home, like if so everything is meshed up, and one day we decide, okay, today I have time, I will now today clean it up. And when that's cleaned up and only stuff which is beneficial is kept or useful is kept, rest all is given away, thrown away, whatever, put at proper place, it actually gives a very nice and light feeling. And same for the inner being also, when we are doing that arrangement within. Yeah, yeah, really helps keeping us light.
Yeah, inviting reflections, comments, questions, if any.
If not, we can maybe go ahead also, because this would also be in resonance what we just read. If there is no reflection, if there is, we can take it up.
Okay, so moving on. So I am assuming nobody is wanting to read again, and I will go ahead. If not, please unmute and you can read. Okay, so bad impulses and thoughts. Mother, when we come to you, we try to be at our best possible. That is to have very good thoughts, but often, on the contrary, all the bad impulses, bad thoughts we had during the day come forward. So Mother answers that that is perhaps so that you can get rid of them. If they come, one can offer them and ask to be rid of them. That perhaps is the reason. It is because the consciousness acts for purification. It is no use at all hiding things and pushing them behind like this and imagining they are not there because one has put a veil in front. It is much better to see oneself as one is, provided one is ready to give up this way of being. If you come allowing all the bad movements to rise to the surface, to show themselves, if you offer them, if you say, well, this is how I am, and if at the same time you have the aspiration to be different, then this second of presence is extremely useful. You can, yes, in a few seconds receive the help you need to get rid of them. While if you come like a little saint and go away content without having received anything, it is not very useful. Automatically, the consciousness acts like that. It is like the ray that brings light where there wasn't any. Only what is needed to be in a state where one wants to give up the thing, to get rid of it, not to cling to it and keep it. If one sincerely wants to pull it out of oneself, make it disappear, then it is very useful. Again, very resonating and again putting more light on what we just read, the last passage on the psychic mirror. And I guess main point, one of the things being that we keep hiding things or ill wills or impulses or thoughts, but that doesn't help. I mean, they stay with us. And it's very symbolic that just putting things under the beds or inside the wardrobes or behind veils. It's like I was reminded of the bird dodo, right? We might have heard of the bird dodo that, whenever something bad would be happening, like say she's sitting in a truck would come or a car would come or somebody throws a rock, the dodo would close their eyes. They would not fly, they would not run, they would just close their eyes, thinking that if I can't see the threat can't see me. So I think this is what we do when we hide things, right? And because I'm not looking at it, it doesn't exist. And yet, in our reactions, in our impulses, our thoughts, our fears, our apprehensions, we see it controlling our lives and our whatnot. So dodo is extinct today, right? Like the bird is gone because it couldn't face the threats and take action. But we can see, we can choose to open our eyes. If, yeah, we will be extinct anyways, but still at least we'll live light. Yeah. It's so easy to say, right, that I don't have ill will, I don't have, I don't know, greed, I don't have lust, I don't have bad impulses, I don't have bad thoughts. There's something in me who believes that, or who wants to also give that image across to the world that, oh, I'm so. And yet, when one becomes more mindful, more watchful of what all is going on, it's amazing what all is there. And then, like it's being said here, we can take it line by line. But before that, any reflection?
I think we were discussing it in one of our sessions where it was said that if there is a tendency which is maybe troubling us and we want to give it up, so we may still be following up with that tendency. It's not that it's gone away, but at least I now want to not follow it. That little bit of wish and maybe aspiration is there. And that's what mother is sharing here, that if it can be put in front, that see, mother, this is what I follow every time, and now I don't want to follow it, and I don't want to be in this groove in which I'm stuck. And then one offers it for transmutation. But usually what happens is that we are defending our patterns. We think that this is what I should be getting, and better the universe gives me that rather than me giving up this tendency. So mostly we are fueling our patterns, mostly we are fueling our own, say, non-beneficial desires, demands, expectations, that why the world does not act the way I want it to act. So I feel that mostly, again, we have talked about it several times, but mostly I'm defending my patterns. And now there comes a stage where I say that no, I may have lived this for a long time, but I know this doesn't help. Even whatever little satisfaction one may get through that expectation, desire, demand, uh, that's nothing really. It comes momentarily satisfaction and then it goes. So one really wants to give it up now. One is like what you were sharing earlier, that one is disgusted in one sense of that older self. And then whenever that tendency shows itself again, then I will not be hiding it behind this veil. No, I'll be actually looking at it and I'll say, what do I do with you? You're still here. And then that offering can happen, that showing it to the light of mother or consciousness, divine consciousness can happen. That, see, I don't know what to do with this, but one thing for sure, that I don't want to indulge in it. So you please take care of it. And then slowly it may happen that it loses grip over us. So I think one thing which I have to take care, in this paragraph also it is said that one must not now be wanting that in one's being. Like, there is no indulgence that I seek what I am offering. I truly sincerely want to now get rid of it. Yeah, that takes a long time, because I may say that बहुत हो गया, I'm just stuck in this loop for a long time. I really want to now let it go, but some part of me still wants it. So as long as that some part will want it, actually I will just create more and more suffering for me, not realizing that it's that little want that is stuck somewhere in the corner, which I am still unable to see, fooling myself that no, I want to give it up. See, that pattern doesn't give me up. But actually I am holding with that little point of magnet, that want, that's that it feels like शायद मिल जाए, something like that, कि क्या पता मिल ही जाए, क्या पता मेरी डेस्टिनी में लिखा हो कि मिले. We fool ourselves with all the reasons. And yeah, and making it also, we give it a nice garb, that क्या पता ये, this is good for my growth, maybe this is bound to happen, something like that. So all kind of good reasons we try to fool ourselves. But if only I can look at that little want somewhere in the corner, like a piece of a magnet, hidden in a corner. Yeah, it takes lot of time. I think that's why when we talk about surrender, or even walking on spiritual path, Mother Sri Aurobindo, again and again we come to that you must give up all the likes and dislikes and preferences and desires and demands, because as long as they are there, this act of purification doesn't go on. Like, it's an obstacle. Yeah, anybody else? Anything on this?
हाँ दीदी, मैं कहना चाह रहा था कि जैसे इसमें लिखा है कि मेरे मन में बुरे विचार आते हैं, तो एक्चुअली दो तरह के बुरे विचार आते हैं. जब हम किसी से मिलने जाते हैं तो यहाँ पर ये चीज़ क्लियर नहीं है. एक तो अक्सर ऐसा होता है कि जैसे किसी व्यक्ति के प्रति हम अपनी कोई एक पूर्व धारणा बना लेते हैं कि ये आदमी गंदा है, तो उसके प्रति बुरे बुरे विचार, जब भी उसके पास जाते हैं बैठते हैं तो उसके प्रति बुरे विचार आने लगते हैं, या उसके प्रति हमारी एक बहुत पुरानी एक इमेज बन जाती है कि ये आदमी बहुत खराब है. फिर भी कारणवश हमें मिलने जाना पड़ता है, जैसे रिश्तेदार होते हैं कुछ, या कोई आदमी जबरदस्ती आया तो. और एक एक बुरे विचार आते हैं. ये बुरे विचार आना, ये कौन से बुरे विचार आते हैं? मतलब जैसे मदर ने कहा कि बुरे विचार आते हैं, तो बुरे विचार यहाँ पर ये क्लियर नहीं है कौन से. मतलब ये बात तो ठीक है कि हमें, जब तक हम चाहेंगे नहीं कि हमें अपने बुरे विचारों को लाना बंद करना है और मदर से प्रे नहीं करेंगे, और तब तक वो नहीं जाना बंद होंगे. और ये इसमें दो राय नहीं है. भी आपने जस्ट लास्ट में कहा है कि ये बहुत समय देता है, लंबा ये. क्योंकि मैं क्या, हर व्यक्ति, कोई भगवान नहीं है, हर व्यक्ति के अंदर कमियां होती हैं, और मेरे अंदर तो खास तौर से कमियां, मैं इस चीज को एडमिट करता हूँ. और मैंने 1 करोड़ बार कोशिश करी है कि ये बुरे विचार आना बंद हो जाए. उसके बावजूद भी हाँ, मैं ये मानता हूँ कि काफी हद तक मैंने इसमें सफलता हासिल की है. और फिर भी बुरे विचार आते ही हैं. किसी व्यक्ति की इमेज बन जाती है बुरे विचार, जबकि वो व्यक्ति ऐसा होता नहीं है. मगर कुछ समय बाद जाके ये लगता है कि नहीं यार, हम गलत थे, ये आदमी इतना गलत नहीं था जितना हम सोच रहे थे. क्योंकि किसी को भी गलत कहना एकदम बिना सोचे समझे, या सोचे समझने के बाद भी, क्योंकि वो कहीं ना कहीं आदमी जीवन में कहीं काम आ जाता है, जिसको कि हम बहुत खराब कहते हैं. ठीक है. कुल मिला के माता जी यही कह रही है कि हमें इन चीज़ों को एकदम बेहोशी में नहीं रहना चाहिए. हमें विचार, जो बुरे विचार आ रहे हैं उनको दूर करने की पूरी भरसक कोशिश करनी चाहिए. दैट इज द मेन थिंग जो मदर कहना चाह रही हैं. थैंक यू.
ये जब मेरे दिमाग में किसी के भी प्रति बुरे विचार हैं, जो आप कह रहे थे, इनफैक्ट आपने खुद ही टू सम एक्सटेंट यू आंसर्ड जो आप पूछ रहे थे और जो शेयर कर रहे थे, क्योंकि उसमें जब मुझे किसी व्यक्ति के बारे में डेरोगेटरी ख्याल आ रहे हैं कि ये कुछ इसमें नीचा है ना, मेरे में कुछ ऊंचा है और इसमें कुछ नीचा है, मतलब ये कुछ कमी है, जहाँ जो भी दूसरे व्यक्ति की बात हो रही है, कुछ वहां पे मिसिंग दिख रहा है बेसिकली, है ना, कुछ कम दिख रहा है, कुछ इम्प्यूरिफाइड दिख रहा है। तो कहीं ना कहीं हम क्यों क्यों ये नहीं छोड़ पाते हैं, उसका एक वन ऑफ द रीजंस एक ये भी है कि कहीं ना कहीं अपनी नजरों में हम बहुत ऊंचे हैं ना, कि मैं तो
मैं
देखो
100% बस
जी
बिल्कुल।
जी जी। तो जब तक मुझे ये गुमान है अपने ऊपर और इस पे मैं पूरा विश्वास रखता हूँ कि हाँ मैं ऊंचा, और ये देखिए जरा छोटे तरह के जीव जंतु, इनको क्या पता क्या होती है स्पिरिचुअल जर्नी और व्हाटएवर कुछ भी आ सकता है हमारे दिमाग में। तो जब तक मैं इन चीजों पे बिलीव करता रहूंगा, आप कितनी भी भरसक कोशिश कर लें, जो आप कह रहे थे भरसक कोशिश कर रहे हैं बुरे विचारों को हटाने की, वो नहीं हट पाएंगे। एक्चुअली में हम अपने आप को बेवकूफी बना रहे हैं वो भरसक कोशिश करके। और तभी अगर आप श्री अरविंद और श्री माँ की आप तो पढ़ते हैं, अगर आप देखें तो उसमें एक जो महत्वपूर्ण कदम है जो बताया गया है कि क्या है वो जो आपने करना है, वो है अपने आप को सोच विचार भावनाओं और शरीर, उससे आपने अपने आप को डिसएंटेंगल करना है, उससे अपने आप को परे करना है, साक्षी भाव जो कहते हैं, विटनेसिंग कॉन्शियसनेस। उसके बिना बुरे विचारों को हटाना संभव नहीं है, हम लगे रहे पूरे जीवन पर्यंत। क्योंकि मैं कौन हूं, मैं अपने आप को क्या समझ रही हूं, मैं वो हूं जो ये सोच है। क्या सोच है? कि ये आदमी बेकार है, तो मैं उस सोच के साथ जुड़ी हुई हूं। और जब हम अपने आप को साक्षी भाव में लाने की कोशिश करते हैं कि मैं कौन, मैं ये चेतना जो इसको देख पा रही है ये विचारों को आते जाते, और ये झूठ है, जब मैं विचार बन जाती हूँ ये मेरी झूठी पहचान है, ये मेरी सही पहचान है, जो वो चेतना है जो आने जाने वाली चीजों को, प्रकृति का मूवमेंट जो है उसको देख पा रही है। तो जब हम अपने आप को यहाँ एस्टेब्लिश करते हैं, तब हम सोच विचारों के मास्टर बन पाते हैं, तब हम बुरे विचारों पे मास्टरी कर पाते हैं। क्यों? क्योंकि वो जो चेतना है वो इटसेल्फ ही तो शक्ति का रूप है, चित शक्ति, कॉन्शियसनेस फोर्स। अब वो हमें मुझे पावर देती है कि ओके, अब मैं अपने अंदर वो विचार रखूं जो जरूरी हैं, और जो नहीं है जरूरी या आधी ट्रुथ है वो मैं उनमें मुझे विश्वास करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है। अब मास्टरी पॉसिबल है। लेकिन हम क्या करते हैं, हम पढ़ते हैं, काफी चीजें पढ़ते हैं और हम अपने हिसाब से पिक भी करते हैं, मुझे लगता है उनकी भी अपनी सही जगह है जो जो हमें हेल्पफुल लगे, बट हम काफी स्टेप्स मिस कर देते हैं। अगर किसी गुरु के हम स्टेप्स पढ़ रहे हैं तो वो मिस कर देते हैं। अब हम, कुछ लोग हो सकते हैं जो बहुत टाइम से श्री अरबिंदो मदर को पढ़ रहे हैं, लेकिन ये स्टेप भी उन्होंने मिस कर दिया कि भैया तुम अपने आप को विटनेसिंग पुरुषा में तो एस्टेब्लिश करो, डिसएंटेंगल तो करो। अभी भी वही जिंदगी है जो सोच विचार से बिल्कुल रमी हुई है, और अब तुम कह रहे हो मुझे बुरे विचार हटाने हैं। कैसे हटाओगे? नहीं हटा पाओगे ना, पॉसिबल ही नहीं है। यहां रहते हुए बुरे विचार हटाना पॉसिबल नहीं है, यहां रहते हुए बुरे विचार हटाना पॉसिबल है, क्योंकि यहां मेरी आइडेंटिटी चेंज हो गई। तो मुझे लगता है कि अगर इस चीज पे ध्यान दिया जाए कि मुझे अपने आप को विटनेसिंग पुरुषा, सावित्री में भी इसका मेंशन है, हर जगह मेंशन है, मदर इसका मेंशन करती है बार बार कि अपने आप को वो जानो जो एक चेतना है जो आपके जीवन को बचपन से देखती आ रही है, ऊपर नीचे उतार चढ़ाव, स्टोरी लाइंस, आपके जीवन की फीलिंग्स, भावनाएं, विचार, इन सबको देखती आ रही है। वो जो देखने वाला जो है कुछ आपके अंदर, जैसे हम कॉन्शियसनेस भी कहते हैं, वो तुम हो। उसके बिना कैसे पॉसिबल है बुरे विचारों का त्याग? नहीं पॉसिबल। तो ऐसी लड़ाई है कि जिसमें हार हमारी होनी ही होनी है।
बहुत सुंदर दीदी, बहुत ही सुंदर तरीके से समझाया है और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। ये पहली बार मेरे दिमाग में ये बात आई है, मिसिंग थी। ओशो ने भी साक्षी भाव को बहुत कहा है और पढ़ते रहते हैं, बस वही है कि जीवन में उतना उतार नहीं पाते हैं, मगर
एक्चुअली
वही
मिस हो जाता है, ये वाला स्टेप मिस हो जाता है, मतलब वो साइड चला जाता है, क्योंकि ओशन ऑफ लिटरेचर है, समुद्र है ना, श्री माँ और श्री
हाँ।
अरविंद के जब हम पढ़ते हैं वचन तो वो समुद्र है और उसमें वो बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो हम रह जाती हैं और ऐसा लगता है कि अरे बड़ा पढ़ लिया, बट जो एक जरूरी स्टेप था
जी हाँ,
जैसे
जी हाँ, जी।
है ना वो छूट जाता है। हम सब करते ही हैं हम सालों सालों तक।
आज आपसे ऑनलाइन जुड़े हैं या जुड़ते हैं या बार बार जुड़ने की कोशिश करते हैं कि कुछ ना कुछ समथिंग न्यू हासिल हो और उसको जीवन में उतारें।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, थैंक यू
वैसे
आपका। हाँ
आसानी से और इतने बढ़िया करके समझाया। ठीक है, इससे भी हमने कई बार पढ़ा होगा, मगर वही है ना कि जब समय आता है, अब आपने साक्षी भाव की जो बात बताई है, तो चीजें हम अपने आप को, और वो देखा होगा आपने माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का जो वो एक ऐड चलता है कि अपने आप को देखो हम जीवन में हमारी क्या सिचुएशन, हम बिल्कुल कीड़े से भी मिलीमीटर्स में, मिली माइक्रोन्स में हमारी सिचुएशन है। खैर चलिए, थैंक यू वेरी मच दीदी।
थैंक यू रवि जी, थैंक यू फॉर योर क्वेश्चन। आपने हमें हिंदी बोलने का मौका दिया, उसके लिए थैंक यू।
ठीक ठीक है, देते रहेंगे। मैं तो जब भी आऊंगा हिंदी में बोलूंगा।
आप
समझ तो
आइए,
लेते
बिल्कुल हमारी भी हिंदी इसी बहाने फंक्शनल हो जाएगी,
नहीं,
क्योंकि आप नहीं आते हैं तो और हम सब इंग्लिश में ही बात करते रहते हैं।
नहीं, ठीक है, समझते तो सभी होंगे, मैं समझता हूँ।
हाँ,
हाँ,
मुझे लगता है सब समझते हैं। हाँ जी,
ठीक
थैंक
है,
यू।
थैंक
थैंक यू।
यू।
या एनीबडी एल्स, एनीथिंग हियर?
ये जो मेरे में एक जिद होती है कि मैं वैसा ही रहूं, बट सब कुछ बदल जाए ना, मेरी दुनिया बदल जाए, बट मुझे ना बदलना पड़े, ये बहुत अपने में बहुत विचित्र और इंटरेस्टिंग जिद, मतलब एक ये नेचर का इम्पल्स है। एंड कैसे होगा, है ना, ये हम वैसे इतने इंटेलिजेंट होते हैं बट ये बात समझ नहीं पाते, बार बार यहाँ पे आके रुकते हैं कि अच्छा मुझे बदलना पड़ेगा, अरे उसमें तो दर्द है, डिस्कम्फर्ट है, इनकन्वीनियंस है, और फिर रोते हैं कि दर्द हो रहा है। मतलब ये पूरा साइकिल अपने में काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है।
मैं कुछ कहना चाहता हूँ इसमें, दीदी मैं कुछ कहना चाहता हूँ
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल कहिए।
इसमें। एक चीज और जोड़ दीजिए, बिल्कुल डिट्टो इसी से पैरेलल है, कि हम चाहते हैं कि दुनिया हमारे हिसाब से बदले और हम जैसे हम चाहते हैं वैसे दुनिया हो। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जैसे मैं सच बोलता हूँ तो हम चाहते हैं कि पूरी दुनिया सच बोले, जो कि ये पॉसिबल ही नहीं है। ये आपने जो बात कही है उसका उसी से कोरिलेटेड है। और जो सबसे बड़ी मेरे परिवार में मेरी बेटी है, हम दोनों और बहुत सच बोलने की बात करते हैं। पूरी हमारी साधना सच बोलने पे ही है। हम काफी हद तक सच बोलते हैं, और मैं तो इतना सच बोलता हूँ कि मेरी मिसेज और मेरे परिवार वाले बहुत परेशान है कि तुम इतना कड़वा सच क्यों बोलते हो। मगर पता नहीं क्या बात है, और मैंने इसमें पूरे जीवन बर्बाद किया है अपना, और बहुत लोगों से संबंध खराब किए हैं, कि हम चाहते हैं कि दुनिया, हम सच बोल रहे हैं तो सामने वाला भी सच बोले। और जबकि 99% लोग जो स्टाफ है, जो और भी चाहे कितने ही पैसे वाला आदमी है या कितने पैसा, कभी भी सच बोलने की कोशिश ही नहीं करते। ज्यादातर लोग, मुझे तो जो लगता है कि बहुत ही ज्यादा लोग झूठ बोलते हैं। और पता नहीं इस चीज को मैं जब स्कूलों में भी मैं आए दिन जाता हूँ और मैं समझाता हूँ बच्चों को, कहता हूँ कि दो ही चीजें समझाइए जो माता जी ने कहा है, सच्चाई और सफाई। मैं स्टाफ से भी कहता हूँ, प्रिंसिपल से भी कहता हूँ, टीचर से भी कहता हूँ, बच्चों से भी कहता हूँ कि सच बोलना सीखो। और माँ ने कहा है कि सच बोलना ही अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ी साधना है और बहुत डिफिकल्ट है इसको। हम योग की कितनी बड़ी बड़ी बातें कर लें, मगर हमें सच बोलना चाहिए। थैंक यू दीदी।
So we can just go over this passage little bit. So when somebody is asking the mother that when we come to you, we try to be at our best possible, and still, that is to have very good thoughts, but often on the contrary, all the bad impulses, bad thoughts we had during the day come forward. So this, I think, in itself is quite beautiful, that why do things come up again and again and again? We have this thing कि अरे कितने time से कर रहा हूँ, and I keep shoving it again and again, not realizing कि if it's coming up repeatedly, maybe there is something I need to look at so that it can be, like it says, get rid of. तो आई टेक दिस एज अ प्रॉब्लम कि वो बार बार आ रहा है, बट ये मैं नहीं देखता कि फिर मैं इसको छोड़ता क्यों नहीं हूँ, मतलब मैं इसके साथ बैठ कर इसको गुड बाय क्यों नहीं बोल देता, बिकॉज वो भी मेरी पॉसिबिलिटी है. Yesterday I met a few people and we were discussing, childhood traumas and instances or things that had happened and stuff. And yet it was very clear that those things happened to me and I am the one holding on to them, because that thing happened 20 years back, 25 years back, 30 years back, 35 years back. But for me, if I'm still holding on to it, who do I blame and how do I continue to blame for years and years and years and not ask myself, why am I still holding on to it? No, I remember Jet Sunmala had shared once that, she had got a letter from somebody saying that how horrible, their family was and how they were trying to take her, they took her house away, how bad the lawyers were and how sad her situation is. And in the end, I don't know, it was a letter or a dialogue, when Jet Sunmala asked, "Okay, when did that happen?" She said 25 years ago. एक 25 साल पहले मेरे साथ कुछ हुआ या मेरे साथ कुछ किया गया. But even today, when I'm talking about it, I am like, I don't know, vibrating in the bad that happened to me. Although when somebody is talking to me और मैं ये सुन रही हूँ, तो या फिर तो I can say, oh, ho, poor you. Or I can say that, oh my God, wake up, where are you? Why are you still there, right? I can choose. And the same thing to myself, it's not about just advocating it or propagating it, but yeah. So this is perhaps so that you can get rid of them. If they come, one can offer them and ask to be rid of them. So till I keep hiding, till I keep covering, I will not be able to offer, because for offering, I have to acknowledge and ask to be rid of. Like we keep offering and praying that may I be able to transcend this, get over that. So that perhaps is the reason. It is because the consciousness acts for purification. It is no use at all hiding things and pushing them behind like this and imagining they are not there because one has put a veil in front. It is much better to see oneself as one is, provided one is ready to give up this way of being. The mother has spoken a lot about it. There were a lot of incidents. One of them that she went into a sadhak room and he had hidden everything in a drawer. I don't know if it was symbolic or real. And then she said, "This is what you need to show me, not just the smile and the clean clothes, for example," just paraphrasing. But if you show me your trash, if you offer me your trash, only then can you get rid of it. Only then can something be done. And not just, hiding won't help. It would just make it messier and smellier and dirtier. So I guess that this purification here is really important. If I want purification, I will have to have the courage to do the cleaning that will lead to purification. It is much better to see oneself as one is, provided one is ready to give up this way of being. सुनने में ये काफी विरोधाभासी बात लगती है कि why will I want to hold on to something which is not good? And yet we know, है ना, कि we are the wall around ourselves. I remember once, I would have shared this before, that Acharya Prashant also had, said this, stresses on this, कि तुमको बचाने के लिए मुझे तुमसे ही लड़ना पड़ता है. It's like, it's a bit of symbolism कि if somebody is drowning and when the lifeguard approaches them, first they have to be prepared कि वो उसको भी ठाटा ठाटा करके दूर करेगा. And then the person will calm down. So just knowing that if I first am able to accept it, it will be easier for me to put light on it, request, beg, pray for putting light on it so that it can be left behind or given up.
There is something here that I want to just share, like a practical, because we, again, although we are talking about, discussing about how to get rid of what one may want to get rid of, but at times it happens, like Ravi ji was talking of, कि जब किसी के बारे में एक हमारे अंदर विचार आते हैं कि एज इफ कि हमारे अंदर किसी ने ठान लिया है कि ये आदमी ऐसा का ऐसा ही है, और वही विचार बार बार आते रहते हैं और इन्हीं विचारों से दिमाग भरा रहता है, खाली हम जगह छोड़ते नहीं है कुछ नई कॉन्शियसनेस के लिए, स्टिलनेस के लिए, पीस के लिए, वो जगह छूटती नहीं है. तो आई रिमेम्बर एक बार देयर वाज समथिंग व्हिच आई वाज गोइंग थ्रू, एंड वही जो विचार आप कह रहे हैं, तो पहला तो ये है कि साइमल्टेनियसली हमें वो साक्षी भाव में अपने आप को मोर एंड मोर एस्टैब्लिश करने की ज़रूरत है. लेकिन काफ़ी बार ये होता है कि हमारे कुछ ऐसे बहुत अटैच्ड पैटर्न्स, थॉट पैटर्न्स होते हैं, जो विचार होते हैं वो हावी हो जाते हैं उस मोमेंट पे, हम पे हावी रहते हैं, और एज इफ कि आपके अंदर एक स्ट्रगल है अब कि अब वो आ रहे हैं और आप नहीं सोचना चाहते हो लेकिन वो आ रहे हैं. ये हमारी जो वृत्तियां हैं, संस्कार हैं, उनकी वजह से, कंडीशनिंग है जो इस लाइफ की, पिछले जन्म की, तो वो आपका माइंड पे एज इफ कि वो हावी होना चाह रहे हैं, लेकिन एक पार्ट आपके अंदर है जो वो कह रहा है कि मुझे नहीं जाना वहां पे, मुझे वहां पे नहीं जाना, मुझे वहां पे नहीं जाना. तो वन वे ऑफ गोइंग थ्रू दिस टू गेट रिड ऑफ दैट मूवमेंट इज टू ब्रीथ थ्रू इट. यूजुअली हम क्या करते हैं, हम माइंड के अंदर चले जाते हैं, उस कंटेंट में चले जाते हैं विचार के, और उसमें अंदर जाके हम जुगाली करते हैं या सोच विचार करते हैं, अच्छा क्या करूं क्या करूं, अच्छा ऐसा रियली में हुआ होगा, नहीं हुआ होगा, व्हाटएवर, अपने आप को हम तर्क उसके अंदर घुस जाते हैं, विचार के अंदर. जबकि एक तरीका ये है जो कि बहुत हेल्पफुल है, मेरे लिए काफी काम करता है, कि जिसमें आई एम जस्ट विद द ब्रेथ एंड बीइंग इन द बॉडी कॉन्शियसनेस and not engaging in that particular pattern of thought which has come up or feeling that has come up, because it is disturbing. I don't want to go there. I don't want to trust in those thoughts and feelings, but they still are there. So what to do? I breathe through it. Breathing. So making the breathing the most focus, like present focus in my life, and breathing. You can lie down, or you can actually, at times it helps to stop all activity if one can do that. Maybe lie down and go in solitude and just breathe as long as that struggle is still going on. And in this breathing process, what I am doing is that I am not engaging in that thought or feeling. मुझे उससे कोई लेना देना नहीं है, वो है मुझे पता है, लेकिन मुझे कोई लेना देना नहीं है, मुझे कोई प्रॉमिस उसमें नहीं दिख रहा जो मुझे फुलफिल करवाना है. तो होता क्या है कि अक्सर, अगेन ये आई एम नॉट शेयरिंग इट फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम, इट इज अ वेल नोन process which one can use to let go of emotions when we continue to stay with breath, 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 breath. So as if like the image it creates is like you have a rugby ball in your hand and you have to reach the other goal post. And from left and right and left and right, many people are wanting to attack and take the ball away from you. So that what is happens. So immediately the thought becomes too overwhelming and I enter it. The moment I enter it, I bring myself again to the breath, which is the ball in my hand. So thoughts and feelings and storylines and everything will try to, overwhelm me from all around, but I have to be loyal to the breath. And I stick. Don't leave it because I have nothing to do with them. I don't have anything to do with them. कुछ promise नहीं है वहां पे. मुझे कुछ नहीं चाहिए उनसे engage होके. And it happens that very soon you are able to pierce through, as if one little victory. Again, that may happen again, but next time when it happens, what happens is that you are able to do it with little swiftness, because now you have practiced it and now you are sure that you don't want anything from there, left or right. So it really helps, to stick with the breath, and like a person who is carrying the ball forward, you stick, and you pierce through like a block wall of thought patterns and emotions, which may be just one wall amongst thousands that have to be pierced, but still, even that helps. In that moment, it brings a lot of lightness. So just was sharing that bit on how to get rid of it. और दूसरा मुझे एक लाइन याद आ रही है, आई एम सॉरी, जस्ट एक सावित्री की एक लाइन याद आ रही है जिसमें श्री अरविंदो शेयर्स हाउ वी कीप आवरसेल्व्स ऑक्यूपाइड विद बिजनेस ऑफ अननंबर्ड लाइव्स. आई थिंक वो भी हमें करना धीरे धीरे छोड़ना है इफ वी आर रियली सिंसियर अबाउट दिस जर्नी, कि चाहे वो हमारा कितना भी करीबी दोस्त हो, चाहे वो कितना भी करीबी रिलेशन हो, सिबलिंग, स्पाउस, child, anything, everyone has their own journey, and my interference in their journey and wanting to know, okay, उसकी लाइफ में क्या चल रहा है, अच्छा उसकी लाइफ में, अच्छा उसने तो मुझे बताया नहीं, all these kind of things which we keep ourselves engaged in, this is how we keep ourselves distracted. So I think if those of us who are really serious about it, we have to really, for once, there has to be a phase that we are totally absorbed within and only concerned with me and the divine, so that I can actually give my best outwardly also. Because if I am always consumed with, अच्छा उसकी लाइफ में क्या चल रहा है, इसकी लाइफ में क्या चल रहा है, अच्छा मेरे को बताया नहीं, उसकी शादी होगी, उसके बच्चे हो गए, all the time, things that we keep. So then we can't have that true communion with the divine. Always we have distractions, always. So if some of us are sincere that no, now I don't want to do this torture onto me or to others, and it doesn't help, that excessive interference doesn't help, because first of all, I don't know about my own life, what to think about somebody else's life, what is the best suggestion that I can give when I can't even know about my own unfolding. So it really helps to not be occupied with the business of unnumbered lives, and to have a sincerity on the path and a true communion with you and the divine, because it's a lone journey. No matter how close as a sangha or community we may be on the path, but the journey is a lone journey, you and the divine. That's it. That's how it best usually takes place. So that strength has to come in that relationship, in that bond within the two of, if we can say the two of us, but yes.
is sharing it, we'll go through this and then we can end for the day. So we have already read this. So if you come allowing all the bad movements to rise to the surface, to show themselves, if you offer them, if you say, well, this is how I am, and if at the same time you have the aspiration to be different, then this second of presence is extremely useful. I think we've already covered that through various examples and reflections. And in a few seconds, receive the help. You need to get rid of them. While if you come like a little saint and go away content, without having received anything, it is not very useful. So automatically the consciousness acts like that. It is like the ray that brings light where there wasn't any. So when the light is there, that why am I doing this? Or, through the breath that was just shared, how I can take things through, I can be through this, I can pass through this, or I can give it away, I can give it up if I know what it is that I need to give up. It is like that ray that brings light where there wasn't any. Only what is needed is to be in a state where one wants to give up the thing, to get rid of it, not to cling to it and keep it. If one sincerely wants to pull it out of oneself, make it disappear, then it is very useful. So, everything's at least starts and ends with me and what I really want, what is my priority, what is important to me. So this sincerely something you want to pull it out of yourself, make it disappear, then this is really important that you bring it to the surface. You want it to be gone and yeah. So this was bad impulses and thoughts. And any reflections are welcome. And next week, we'll go through the offer the wrong movement. So I thought it's following the same thing as like it would be shedding light through different words and ways. And basically the thing that we need to know it and then offer it. But of course, we will do the thing. So yeah. Yeah, anything from anybody before we end? Yeah.
Just wanted to put in a word again. There are like 3 ways described to transmute or transform disturbing emotions. I can share, we have shared the link earlier also, but we'll share it again. Where one of the ways, so one is this keep clinging and not let it disturb. The other one is to see their true nature. And they say that when we see that thoughts and feelings are not concrete, they are not solid, they are just like formations, like clouds form in the sky, and it's my belief in them that makes them so concrete, that ये मेरी सोच है, और मैं सही सोच रहा हूँ. So we make it more concrete by making it real and solid, while it is nothing. It's just like a cloud. And what is a cloud? It comes and it goes away. Where does it go away? It goes back in the sky. It comes from the sky, forms up. So when we see the true nature of thoughts and feelings, especially the disturbing ones, because there is where our work lies, then we see that what's the big deal? Why am I making it such serious affair? It comes, it forms itself. I believe in it, so I drown in it. The moment I stop to believe in it, knowing that it's empty, it's like a bubble. You touch a bubble and empty, there is nothing there. So thoughts and feelings, truly, they say that that's their nature. If you see them arising, see them disappearing, see them arising, see them disappearing, and the anger that was there or frustration that was there in the morning, where is it right now. It's gone back into that emptiness again. So then we stop to give them too much importance. And then also it's one of the ways that it's easier to then pierce through or go through them. That I don't make them like a brick wall in front of me. Oh, what do I do? What do I do? How to, like we begin to usually fight. Ravi ji was talking about that भरसक कोशिश कर रहे हैं उसको हटाने की. So when we understand their true nature, then उस कोशिश की भी जरूरत नहीं है. आपने देख लिया कि वो रस्सी है, वो सांप नहीं है. जब वो दिख गया कि वो रस्सी है और सांप नहीं है, तो फिर सांप से डरने की क्या जरूरत है. बट क्योंकि हम देखते नहीं है, क्योंकि हम अपनी कॉन्शियसनेस वहां लगाते नहीं, इट्स लाइक अ टॉर्च, like a light of consciousness goes there and sees their true nature. तो वो एफर्ट क्योंकि हम नहीं करते हैं, तो हम पूरी जिंदगी लगा देते हैं सांप से डरने की और बाकी चीजें जो हैं in the process. So that is also I think one of the recommended ways to see their true nature, so that one can be light, and not believe strongly in thoughts and emotions. So again, a way of piercing through. Yeah, any last comments, anyone, before we end the session today? Okay, so let's maybe end the session, just taking a moment of silence. Whatever merit we may have accumulated, collective reading, reflection, understanding, clarity, sharing the merit with all the sentient beings near and far. May our hearts be full, content, minds simple, light, and with lots of joy and progress in our life. And one word which comes to me is disinterestedness, which Mother talks about, that what we need on the path is a disinterested love, where one is not, nothing is glitter anymore. And that brings stability between us and the divine, that nothing around me is glitter anymore. That gives us the solid, unshakable ground. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you.